Great seeing my next guest back in action. Going to be taking on a Canadian, Chad Anheliger, UFC Fight Night, November 18th. It is Jose Johnson back here on the program. Jose, how are you, man?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
No complaints, man. I'm not going to be punching someone in the face on November 18th. And if I was, I'd be getting in trouble. Not like you, though, because you do this for a living. Looking forward to it. When did you find out about this fight? It looked like you got a full camp for this one.
I actually had a full camp for this one. I do not remember the exact time, but I did have quite a bit of time to prepare. So that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, and a good turnaround, I think, too. I know you fighters, a lot of you guys want to keep active. Your last fight wasn't that long ago. Is this kind of the schedule you like?
I actually like it quicker, but
okay.
But I do appreciate the fairly quick turnaround with allowing me to do a full camp. I appreciate them doing that.
No, it makes a difference for sure. Never fun to talk about a loss. That last fight, you had a tough opponent. It was a good fight. You and Damon Blackshear. What did you take away the most from that one that you're bringing into this fight?
Nobody likes to stand with me.
Okay, fair enough. I know you did kind of go wrestling heavy, right? So
it's he came out really aggressive though. He came out really aggressive. I got excited and started cracking him back, and then he reverted to that wrestling, and I was fairly safe. I thought I was good, but ended up pulling some shifty stuff out of his pockets on me. My biggest takeaway on it, though, however, was that I should probably be a little bit more patient. It's not the regional scene anymore. I don't have to force things to come. I can be a little bit more patient and find my timing, my range a little earlier.
Did you know much about Chad Anheliger before accepting this fight, or was he one of those guys you had to look up? The only reason I say that is because he's only had a couple of UFC fights and he's coming in on a bit of a layoff into this fight.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the guys I had to look up. I don't really know too much about the Canadian guys, Canadian fighters, period. To be honest,
there aren't many of them, right? Like I think you can count on one hand how many there are in the UFC. There's just not a lot, right?
Not a quite. I guess you could say the same thing about Dominican fighters. It's not a bunch of Dominican fighters. I think there's only 2 in the UFC now. So, but yeah, no. When I looked him up, he seems like a sharp guy. You know what I'm saying? Seems like it's gonna be a very fun fight. I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a good matchup. What do you make of his layoff? Like I mentioned there, he hasn't fought since August of 2022. Do you believe in cage rust, or do you think it just depends on the fighter?
I definitely had some cage rust. So, and I've had over 100 fights, you know, considering my amateur length of a career, and then into the pros, I've had almost 100 fights. So, and that taking that year off to have surgery and everything that I did, it definitely played a factor for me, especially after getting hit. You kind of come back after you get cracked, though.
Yeah. Well, and then it's not like he's in a bit of an older fighter too. So again, that maybe lays, sort of, plays a little bit more of a role in the fight, but I guess we'll find out on the 18th. Tell me a bit about camp. Who have been some of the main guys helping you get ready for this one? Who've been your main training partners?
So I actually went back a little bit and started doing strength and conditioning with my old coach, Aaron Naramore over at SAS in Killeen, Texas. And that's really helped me. The UFC has actually been extremely supportive for this camp, sending me things that I need. This is probably the lowest that my weight has been when I'm going to Vegas, and I have complete energy. I'm full of life still, and I'm super excited. I feel super strong. Usually I think that like I have to stay a little heavier and then cut all of the weight. That way that I'm super heavy again, because it seems scientifically like I would be stronger, when in all actuality I'm not, because I'm doing too much on my body. So the fact that I'm not going to be doing a whole lot on my body when I get there, because of my diet and my strength and conditioning program, and my main, sparring partners, my cousin Jonathan Pati, and my buddy Brandon Clark, my boy Michael Moylan. He just fought this past Saturday, and he won his MMA debut. I'm very proud of that guy. And Crew Kasib over there at Strike Kings. Really appreciate those guys' helps all the time. And
nice.
We got something going.
I was going to say, sounds like a good custom camp. Like you kind of made things that work for you. You got guys that are, they're, on team, Johnson for this camp, right? Which is good. It's important.
Exactly. Yeah. That also want to include Henzo Gracie San Antonio, my jiu-jitsu coach, Phil out there. get some work in, some one-on-one work in with him for the next week and a half before it's time to leave, and then he's also still going to Vegas with me.
Good. That's great, man. What about your corner? Who'll be making the trip with you?
Actually, Aaron Emmer is going to be in my corner. My jiu-jitsu coach, Philip Platt, and then my crew, my Muay Thai crew Kasib.
There we go. And I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, otherwise, why sign the contract? But how do you see the fight playing out on November 18th?
I feel like it's funny. I actually watched this interview with you, good sir.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
and I know that it was going to have to be his game plan in order for him to even establish any sort of dominance on me is to push the pace, because he's kind of a small guy. You know, he's 5'6".
Well, you used to fight at flyweight, and I know Chad really well because I called 2 of his fights on the regional scene, so I kind of know him a little bit.
So he's gonna have to. I know he's gonna have to push that pace early, and I just hope he's ready, because if wrestling is his idea of trying to push that pace, like, it's gonna be a long night for him. Like, I've had wrestlers wrestle me and they end up getting submitted or they get swept a bunch of times because I'm actually more technical jiu-jitsu wise than people may realize. So I think it's either gonna end in the first 3 minutes, or it's gonna be a 15 minutes of just us slugging it out. It's gonna be a dog fight.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure. Everyone's been talking about it on the weekend. I'm assuming you've seen it or at least seen the highlights. Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury. What'd you think of that?
So I didn't watch the fight. I watched clips of that. Cause I honestly forgot that the fight was even happening.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I'm so like focused on my family when I'm not at the gym that I kind of just lose track of that kind of stuff. But when I saw that he knocked Tyson down, man, I was like, "Oh, this man is getting paid." All I could think of for him was like how, like, if you look at Francis Ngannou's like story, it's so movie like. It's like a Rocky story. I literally was like, "Yeah, this man is about to get paid. He's about to get paid."
Oh yeah.
And then I saw Tyson's face the next day. His face is all jacked up, and Francis Ngannou looked like he didn't even fight.
Yeah. Well, and just like, I don't know if he's ever going to want to fight MMA again. Like, why would you? Like, that after doing what he did? Like, I know he didn't win, but like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people trying to, get on that hype because everyone's talking about it. Everyone is talking about that fight.
Yeah, I'm sure he made well over $1 million on that fight. And
more than that. I'm hearing like 10 million, I think, is how much he made, I think.
Yeah, man, I'm not going. No, absolutely not. You throw $10 million my way for me to box a champion. Yeah, I'm probably not ever stepping back into the cage either.
So this is interesting because your fight's on the 18th, and then obviously the holidays are after this, but you want to keep active. So do you choose the holidays and take a little bit of time off, or do you still want to get even another fight in for the year? Like, what's sort of your plan after this? I guess it depends how the fight goes, right?
So if it's a super quick fight, I do want to have a turnaround. But if it goes full 15, I like to take some time, depending on how my body feels, to just heal and spend time with the family. Man, it's gonna be our first holidays here in the new state, so we're gonna enjoy them, and we're gonna travel towards the end of the year. So.
Nice. Where are you traveling to?
So me and my fiance are gonna get married in Hawaii.
Oh, congrats, man! That's awesome.
I appreciate it. So we're gonna go look at different stuff like venues and property, go visit her parents, and take the kids over there as well.
Cool. Your wife's from Hawaii?
She is.
That's cool. Nice. Nice place to go. I've never been, but I hear amazing things about Hawaii. I'm a big golfer.
I've never been either. I'm super excited. She's gonna show me everything.
Yeah. One of these days, the UFC's got to host an event there. Bellator's kind of got them beaten in that regard. They've done a bunch. I don't know why the UFC hasn't gone down there.
I don't know why they're not jumping on that either.
Yeah, it seems like a good spot. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, this is an awesome fight. UFC Fight Night, November 18th. You don't want to miss it. Jose, thanks so much for doing this, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Oh, shoot. I want to give a shout out to the hoodie. It says Chris's Bakery. They're located in Oak Harbor, Washington. Probably some of the best donuts I've ever had. And I'm a fat guy. I just called myself a fat guy on camera. It's all good. But yeah, they're jelly-filled donuts. Mm-hmm. Them boys are money. I like them. To be honest with you, man, it's crazy because I actually had like a huge lack of sponsorship, like support this camp, but it seems to be like my most successful camp that I've had. I just want to give a huge shout out to the ones who have been there. My family, my fiance, she's been extremely up my ass about my diet and a whole list of other things that I don't want to do. She's been at every practice. I want to give a huge shout out to my kids because they're my motivation. They're at school right now, thank goodness. I gotta go pick them up a little bit. Um, my coach who just dropped everything after me not even talking to her for a while and just being there, Aaron Nermar, I really appreciate it. He's flying out for the fight as well. And my gyms, Henzo Gracie and Strike Kings. I just want to give you a huge shout out to them.